Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to show you how to make this checkered knit bookmark. This is a super beginner project. If you're new to knitting, this is a great way to mix up your knit and purl stitches in each row. You can see our knit stitching causes this stockinette stitch, and our purl stitching causes the garter stitch. It's completely reversible, so the front and the back look pretty identical. To finish this bookmark off, I have just worked a single crochet border around the edges. A really fun and easy beginner knit project. You can use any size yarn for this project. I am using this variegated blue acrylic yarn. You'll also need a pair of knitting needles, any size, whatever corresponds to the size yarn that you're using, and to do the border you'll need a crochet hook in relatively the same size as your knitting needles. You'll also need a yarn needle to weave in those two pesky ends, and scissors, of course. I just love how that checkered pattern plays out. This pattern is a multiple of 8. We'll have 4 purl, 4 knit, 4 purl, 4 knit, back and forth to create these little checkers. And the border is completely optional. You don't have to put a border on if you don't want to. And as with most projects, you can block this if you want. My bookmark is about 6.5 inches tall and about 1.5 inches or so, maybe 2 inches wide. But again, you can customize this by using larger or smaller knitting needles or a smaller or larger size yarn. To start, we need to cast on 8 stitches. So this bookmark pattern is a multiple of 8. To cast on, I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail because casting on uses this side of your tail as well as the yarn that is pulling from the skein over here. So I'm going to just leave a little bit of a tail there. Put the yarn like this around my fingers. Take my one needle, put it under the yarn, put my finger here to secure it, and bring up loops around my hook, pull them tight. I've got 2 loops on my hook. I'm going to keep doing this until I have 8 loops on my needle. I keep saying hook as if I'm crocheting. I want 8 loops or stitches on my knitting needle. There we go. I've got 8 stitches. And don't forget to count that first one. Sometimes it gets hidden next to that second one, since when you cast on in this way, you're actually casting on 2 when you start. There we go. Turn our work, and I will show you how to do row 1. Row 1 is a knit 4, purl 4 pattern. This is going to be true of rows 1 through 4. We're going to knit the first 4, purl the last 4. To knit, we put our needle in from the front, go in to the back like that, grab our working yarn, make sure you're not using the tail. You want the yarn that is attached to your skein or ball of yarn. Wind that around and pull it off. So now there's our first stitch onto our other needle. We're going to do the same with the next 3. We're going to knit, once you have knit the first 4, we're going to purl the last 4. To purl, we need to move our yarn to the front and put our hook in from the front, yarning over like that and pulling off a loop. Same thing with the next 3 stitches. Until you've worked your 8 stitches. Row 2, we're going to turn, and we're going to do the same thing. Knit the first 4, purl the last 4. This will create the stockinette stitch from the first 4 and the garter stitch on the last 4. Knit 4, flip your yarn to the front. Now you can purl the last 4. And that was row 2. Row 3 and 4 are exactly the same. You're going to turn, you're going to knit 4, purl 4, turn, knit 4, purl 4. And that will be your 4 rows. And then I will show you how to work rows 5, 6, 7, and 8. Alright, so I've worked my 4 rows, knitting the first 4 and purling the last 4. And you can see our knit stitches here. It looks like the stockinette stitch. And the purl on the last 4 gives you the garter stitch. Now this is reversible, so if we turn it over, you've got, again, your stockinette stitch and your knit stitch. For rows 5, 6, 7, and 8, we're going to be doing the opposite. We are going to purl the first 4 and knit the last 4. So to purl, you want to put your hook in from the back and grab your working yarn and twist it around the front of that needle, slide that loop right off. We're going to do that again to the next 3 stitches on our knitting needle. We've worked 4 stitches in the purl. To knit, we need to move our yarn to the back and knit the last 4. Alright, you can't really see a difference yet. Let's work row 6 together. Same thing, we are going to purl the first 4. Move our yarn to the back of our needle and we can knit those last 4 stitches. So that was row 6. Row 7 and 8 is exactly the same. Turn your work. Row 7, purl 4, knit 4, turn. Row 8, purl 4, knit 4. And that is the 8-row pattern. So once you work 4 rows of the purl 4, knit 4, you're going to go back to working the knit 4, purl 4. And that will be 4 rows. So you're going to create these little individual blocks. And it sort of creates that checkered pattern. So row 7 and 8 is purl 4, knit 4, and then you're going to start over. You're going to work rows 1 through 8. So 1 through 4 is going to be the knit 4, purl 4, and then 5 through 8 is the purl 4, knit 4. And you just work that pattern all the way up until you get the length the height that you want for your bookmark, and then I will show you how to finish your bookmark. Once you have worked your 8-row repeat, you'll get this little checkered pattern. Mine is about 6 inches, and if you wanted to, you could block it and probably stretch it out a little bit more, but I'm just going to leave mine like this and finish off this edge, this top edge. Now, it doesn't matter if you finished off on row 4 or row 8. We are going to finish off the same way. Put your hook in as if to knit, wrap it around, and knit that stitch. Knit the next stitch. You've got 2 on your right-handed needle. Pick up that first stitch with your left-handed needle and pull it over that second stitch. We've just casted off 1. We're going to do that again. So we knit, take that one that's on this, pull it over. You always want to have 1 stitch on your right-handed needle after you cast off 1. So you'll never have more than 2 on this hook, with this needle. And just work your way all the way, all those 8 stitches, casting off each one as you go. One left, going to knit that last one and pull that stitch up and over, and now I've got 1. So at this point I want to put a border on my little bookmark. This is optional. You don't have to put a border on. If you don't want a border, you can just pull up this yarn, fasten off, and pull that through, weave in your ends, and you're good to go. For me, I am going to put down my knitting needles and grab a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. Put that crochet hook right through that loop and pull it down. And now I can just work a simple single crochet border all the way around to just give it a finishing look. So if you're going to work the border, you've got your crochet hook in your loop there. I'm going to chain 1, and then I'm just going to work a single crochet all the way around into the stitches as best as I can, as evenly as I can. Some stitches will be easier to single crochet into, and others will be harder depending on the knit or purl stitches on that side. So just continue working single crochet all the way around. For the corners, I recommend putting in 2 or 3 in the same stitch just to get around that corner, and then work your single crochets all the way around in the corners, 2 or 3 just to get around that corner, and I will meet you back up here. Alright, I'm back up at the top here. I'm just going to put in a last single crochet into that stitch at the top. There we go. You can see the edge kind of finishes it off nicely. I worked 3 single crochets into those bottom corners, finished off up here. So I'm just going to pull up my yarn, cut that yarn, pull that through, and there we go. A little checkered, knitted with a crochet border bookmark. I hope you enjoy this video. Please be sure to share, like, subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any of my upcoming videos. Happy knitting, everyone! Bye!